Today is Monday, January 5th, 2015, and my heart is heavy today because yesterday we all received the unfortunate news that longtime sports broadcaster Stuart Scott died at the age of 49. And I usually, when a celebrity type figure passes away, it doesn't really affect me because I don't necessarily know that person per se, and they're so distant. But with Stuart Scott passing, it really affected me, and my heart is heavy today, and I wanted to take a day before I said anything, publicly on my channel, or said anything on a blog or wrote it down. I just want to kind of collect my thoughts before I kind of share them with anyone else, So here's me kind of expressing myself. So before I go into what he meant to me as a fan, I just want to give some brief background upon myself and my situation. So I'm currently 28 years old. Stuart Scott has been at ESPN for 21 years. And, me looking back on my life, sports has always been an integral part of my life. And when I was around 7 or 8, I started to play Pop Warner sports, football, basketball, baseball, you name it. And around that time, my parents got a divorce. So I was living in different parts of the country. I moved around a lot. And, I always was the new kid, or depending on what part of the country I was at. I'm from California. So, if I was in the South, meaning Alabama, Atlanta, that type of area, I would be looked at as, why you talk so proper? Or, it was kind of like a tough transition for me. I'm not going to even lie. But what was a constant in my life was sports. And during that time, during the 90s, mid 90s, ESPN Sports Center really kind of revamped its image. And then, they had the This Is Sports Center campaign. And I remember, ESPN kind of made it to where every hour on the hour they will replay that today's Sports Center. So no matter where you're at, you're coming home from work, school, no matter what day it was, you were able to watch that day's episode of Sports Center. And so, as I'm making new friends or living in different places, Sports Center has always been there. And for me, Stuart Scott always spoke to me directly. He was a cool person to see on TV. He was a reflection of myself. I am African American male. He was a reflection of myself. To me, in my world, Stu Scott made it cool to be smart. You know what I'm saying? He was articulate. He was able to verbalize himself and really be confident in his delivery. But on the same token, be cool and be down with the brothers, man. And that was just a great role model to have growing up. And he really dared to be different, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of times we live in this cookie cutter world where people don't really dare to be themselves, but he really pushed the envelope. Dan Patrick said it best when he said that he bulldozed the envelope. And a lot of times race relations are a little bit heated in this country, and people are scared to kind of be real with each other and say what really happened. And me looking back on Stuart Scott and his rise at ESPN, his style of commentary wasn't popular. It rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I remember reading comments, news articles saying that, you could take the brother out of the ghetto, but you can't take the ghetto out of the brother. Who is this hip hop slanging analyst that they have at ESPN? Or, this is bad for the pristine image of ESPN. And Stuart Scott stuck to himself. He knew what he wanted to be representative of. He knew what he wanted to do. And he dared to be different. And for that, I believe Stuart Scott is a genius. The reason why I said his death really affected me, because for 21 years of my life, he was a part of my life. Like, when you have people, watching him throughout the years on Sports Center, ABC, NBC, throughout the various different coverage of the NBA, NFL, and other sports, it's a real intimate thing, as we watch people on TV. And, I know that might sound corny or whatever the case may be, but he was always one of those constants in my life, to where I turn on, there goes Stu Scott, you know what I'm saying? To where, And now the fact that he's gone, like 21 years of my life, a little bit of that died with me. And I know that might be stressing it out a little bit, but really and truly, that's, it's kind of like a distant relative dying, and dying too soon. I mean, he was only 49 years old, and man, it's kind of hard to think that he's gone. And now that I am a YouTube sports commentator, I mean, if you really think about his impact on the industry, it was tremendous. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, what he did at the time wasn't popular. He stuck to himself. He dared to be different. And, even though he faced resistance, he was able to persevere and to be himself and be true to himself, true to his word. And that really stuck out. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that, I won't say no one liked it when he did what he did, because people well received it, but it was a lot of hate on Stu Scott, and a lot of people might want to brush that under the rug. But I remember when it was, it's a time where the LA riots had just happened. Race relations are kind of as tense or even more tense in this country, as it is with Ferguson nowadays and stuff like that. But, you have a time where hip hop culture is becoming more prevalent in mainstream, and ESPN kind of wanted to grab that audience. You have the Fab Five with their long shorts of ushering a new wave of culture into sports media. Clinton playing saxophone late night on Arsenio Hall. Shout out to Arsenio Hall show. That was a funny show. I remember that. You know what I'm saying? You have, just all these different things that are happening at this time. And I really feel that Stu Scott was the perfect person at the perfect time to kind of usher in that new wave of audience and kind of bring folks like myself into the conversation, into the sports world. And I always felt that sports was a way to bring people of all different ethnicities, races, and nationalities together, because we can all kind of gravitate and be passionate about sports. So, and I don't want to take his time on earth for granted. You know what I'm saying? He was a genius. And we're not, and people like him don't come around too often. He was the best at what he did. You know what I'm saying? And we were able to experience that. I'm not sure if we can really, as of right now, the day after his loss, to really be reminded of his genius and what he did. But, just really sit back, y'all, and just really just admire this man's work and just how he single-handedly changed the game of sports commentating. Like, before him, it was only Chris Berman who was the talent, quote unquote, behind sports broadcasting. And, he made sports broadcasters famous. I mean, really and truly, if it wasn't for Stu Scott, there wouldn't be a Dan Patrick radio show. There wouldn't be a Mike and Mike radio show, and if you listen to the style of commentary nowadays, people owe some of that to Stu Scott. Even it breaks down to as small of, a YouTube sports commentator I am. Like, I wouldn't be able to make money off of YouTube if it wasn't for Stu Scott. You know what I'm saying? So, I just wanted to take time to kind of remember him and kind of share my story about my fan perspective of Stu Scott, man. And, I just challenge everybody to just, dare to be different. If be true to yourself, be true to your word, know what you want to represent of yourself, and be a representative of your community and your family, and do that. Even if you're going to face adversity, you're going to face resistance, dare to be different. There's nothing wrong with that. Stick to yourself and really be in your own lane. Don't be no cookie cutter. Don't get this phone because that person got this phone. Don't wear these shoes because that person wear this shoes. Wear what you want to wear. Be how you want to be. Act how you want to act. Consume the goods that you want to consume. All right. So thank you guys for listening to this unusual broadcast, man. But I just wanted to just kind of take the time and share my story, and at least kind of vent a little bit as I'm really saddened by this man's death. So I thank you guys. I thank you guys for listening. I am Mr. HDIII. Catch you on the next one. Peace.